Literary Merit, a hip-hop podcast, is an educational podcast that analyzes the lyrics of hip-hop's most masterful wordsmiths to illuminate the universality of the human experience. Hip-hop is a living, breathing, artistic expression that offers keen social commentary and cultural insights. It is the heartbeat of the streets. Even so, hip-hop heads in scholarly pursuit of the subject often are met with resistance, dismissal, and condescension. The message is clear. Hip-hop has no place in academia, but we know better. Its rhyme schemes are nuanced, its themes are rich, and its lyrics contain layers of complexity. It's time to flip the script on the canon. This is Literary Merit, a hip-hop podcast. I first encountered the term literary merit as an advanced placement or AP English student. Years later, I internalized it as a high school AP English teacher. The term refers to high-quality writing. Works that contain such writing have literary merit. I have always questioned the narrow canon of works deemed worthy of the category by the Academy. My lifelong exploration of hip-hop lyrics and study of the English language tells me that hip-hop has literary merit. Further, hip-hop adds supplemental elements that make it engagingly unique. The genre expands the canon in its narratives of the human condition and universal truths that have yet to be studied collectively and widely accepted. I see redefining our understanding of what it means to be an academic and what scholarship looks like as an integral part of a larger conversation about belonging. We introduce a world of possibility when we showcase the myriad examples of and pathways to literary genius. As an educator and hip-hop head, I want this podcast to speak to the ones who listen to entire albums, obsessively analyzing the lyrics, cadence, beats, music, structure, etc. The ones who want to go beyond the canon. The ones longing to engage in analytical conversations about hip-hop. Literary Merit, a hip-hop podcast, is my attempt to do so. Thank you for indulging me. Before we get out of here, just want to hear some final thoughts from our two experts. Anybody want to go ahead and start it off? Jasmine, go ahead.
Okay. My takeaway, or what I want people to take away from this conversation. When you talk about Pac, you're talking about an icon, so we're just gonna, that's number one, right? You gotta look at the entirety of the person, and you can cut up all these different things, the lyricism, the songs, how many hits he sold, all that sort of stuff, but you have to look at the whole person to understand the magnitude of who it is that we're talking about, for one. And for two, on the lines of hip-hop, hip-hop is genius. Hip-hop is just as genius as pyramids and hieroglyphs and rocket ships and the creation of the automobile and whatever you think of to be genius. Hip-hop is exactly that. And I personally refuse to let it be looked at as less than scholarly because folks don't like or don't understand where it's coming from. It is our means of communication to the greater world. And when I say our, I mean hip-hop got a place for everybody.
Yes.
Everybody.
Yes.
You dance, you rap, you create art, you like the way that sounds mixed together with each other. Whatever it is that you do and you love, hip-hop has a place for you. It's like the land of misfit toys, right? We exist here, and everything that we create within this culture is genius. And I hope that eventually folks will start to understand and revere hip-hop as scholarly as it actually is, to those of us who know what's real.
Yes.
That's all I gotta say.
Thank you. Dr. McCarthy.
I want a second, first of all. Everything what she said, I mean, you can't really improve upon that.
We could try.
No, I can't improve upon that. I mean, the only thing, as I'm sitting here, that you said, what is there something we haven't already said that I would not want to leave having not talked about? I think that there are two things I can think of. One is I feel like we talked about, the message and the lyrics. We talked about the complexity of the artist, of the man, of the life, and of his art. One of the things that I think is so distinctive, and it's true for rap, right? I mean, the primary instrument is the voice.
Mm-hmm.
And there is something about Pac's voice. I don't know, I've never quite had the right words to describe its particular qualities, its color, its timbre, its power. But I feel like even people who are outside of our community, who are outside of hip hop, who don't know or have much interest in our lives or our music, if you put on a Tupac record, like their ears prick up. People notice something, that is just, it's just there.
Mm-hmm.
He has that thing. I'm sure, we could say it's like, it has something to do with charisma. I think it has something to do with spirituality. But there's something in his voice that I think really, as Jasmine was saying, makes him not just a rapper.
Yeah.
He's not just another rapper.
No.
He's an icon, as you said. He's larger than rap.
Mm-hmm.
And that's something that always sticks with me, that I feel like I always have to keep coming back to, and I keep thinking about the place of that voice in our lives. And then to the larger theme of what we've been talking about here today. Yes, it's not acknowledged.
Nope.
The intelligence, the scholarliness, the skill is not acknowledged. And part of why that's especially strange and it was never acceptable and never valid, but it certainly cannot be. It simply cannot be tolerated even. Because the fact of the matter is, whether you like it or not, and a lot of people don't like it.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't like it, but whether you like it or not, hip-hop changed the world.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my goodness.
Talk about it.
And Tupac changed the world.
Talk about it.
And all across this country, all across all races in this country,
Yep.
Tupac has millions of fans and listeners to this day. And so, he is our history.
Oh yeah.
This is not an option.
No.
He is the curriculum.
Yeah. Facts.
If you want to understand this country, he's now a part of the history
Yep.
of this country, as is hip-hop. And, if you want to know where you live, if you want to know the history of the society that you were born into, then you have to know Pac.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't know Pac, you don't understand where you're at. And that's unfortunate.
Yeah.
You are miseducated.
Mm-hmm.
You lack the understanding necessary to move in the world in an enlightened fashion, because this world has been shaped profoundly by him and by the movement that he's a part of, and indeed, in a larger sense, by the role that black people have played in American life for so long.
Facts.
And I think that, at the end of the day, we still are getting, we still don't see that level of respect, but sooner or later, the fact of the matter is that the presence of it is so obvious. Its importance is so fundamental to what we are, to how we talk, to how we think, to what we like, to how we live, that, I feel like it's a little bit like with his lyrics, like, we're going through a tough time still today. Mm-hmm. We talked about this, right?
Yeah.
But I still have that sense that, you keep your head up and you say, I think we still might get there. Mm-hmm. Or we may not get there, but it doesn't change the fact that Pac is pushing us.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that we feel that energy
Still.
and we respond to it.
Mm-hmm.
And, that's enough.
Yeah.
Maybe that's enough. The voice thing that you said, it made me think about Mary J. Blige. You hear her voice, like you hear that pain.
Yeah.
That's what people are going to connect with. And that's what made me think about when you were talking about Tupac, the pain, like you hear that in his voice, all that. So the two things that I wanted to say, first one, I don't want nobody to beat me up in here, but I have a confession.
Go ahead.
Oh boy. Don't start none. You done had us fired up in here about Tupac for about 2 hours. Don't do it.
Like Biggie is the greatest rapper.
I know shit. And you know what? That's fine, because Biggie is a rapper. Okay? Because he a rapper.
Is he an entertainer or is it art? Okay. So my confession is,
decided this.
honestly, I didn't really grow up listening to Tupac like that. I would never say, I say I'm a hip hop head, but Pac was not anybody that I ever really paid attention to. I liked his hits.
Yeah.
I knew his songs. But beyond that, I never really got into him. But conversations like this, and even me preparing for conversations like this, and having to dig into his lyrics, and having to listen to his words, and having to really give it serious consideration, completely changed my mind, which is what this is all about. It's like, it doesn't matter if you like to listen to it. It doesn't matter if you don't think that he was a whatever type of person.
Yeah.
But you can't deny what's in here.
Yep.
The lyrical genius is just there, and it cannot be denied, and that's enough.
We did what we came here to do.
Two, as I was like going through the songs, I had my notes or whatever, I wrote down these words, and I go back, I do my annotations, I step away from it, I come back to it, I read through them, and I'm like, what are the words that are like coming out to me, right? And so for changes, I wrote down words like urgency, which you kind of spoke to, like he's kind of pushing, like that age thing, like it sounded like he knew something was coming. So he's like that sense of urgency, and you feel that in the music. You hear he's like driving towards something. There's some hope in there. There's some resignation in there. And then in Keep Your Head Up, I have like, there's the hope again, a lot of social commentary, the feminism, the women's rights, the empathy, the sympathy, all of those things. But across the board in both of them is just love.
Yeah.
There's this love for humanity that just comes through. And not just the him, not just black, not just white, the collective.
Yeah.
And he does it so well and so beautifully. And it, again, just cannot be denied. And so that's what I want people to really take away from this discussion, from the lyrics, from Tupac. Those are the things. So with that, I will say thank you, listeners, for listening to this episode of Literary Merit, a hip-hop podcast. Thank you, Dr. McCarthy. Thank you, Miss Jasmine Red. And if you haven't listened to Jasmine Red, listen to her.
Go get those.
If you haven't read Dr. McCarthy, go get that book.
Follow us on social media.
Follow them. What's your handle?
At Jasmine Red, JAZZMYNRED. And you can also go to jasminered.com.
Beautiful. You do social media?
I'm on Twitter. I don't actually remember my handle.
So you ain't on Twitter?
Nah, I'm not on Twitter like that. I'm an academic.
Being X.
I mean, I don't have no social media either, for real.
Oh.
I got my dog on
Follow me,
social
I'll get y'all connected to that.
There you go.
I got you.
All right.
Send me a message.
Kimberly, we have to thank you all.
Yes.
Thank you for doing this. Thank you for bringing us together.
Absolutely.
I knew in all the setup. I don't know if I told you this, but I told like everybody else. Like I did the setup, I had the survey or whatever, and I saw that, and I know like from the beginning you were like, I already know I'm gonna do this. Before you even did the survey, you were like, I know this, that. So
I want you to come talk about an artist you're really passionate about. I said, all right, send them on.
Yeah,
I got you.
I know the songs, I know everything. I was like, okay, she's ready.
Tupac got the same tattoo.
Yep.
Okay, I got Nefertiti right here. Like
I said, she's
real,
ready.
Yeah, it's true.
I know, like I met you through Nee Parks,
That's right.
the author, who was a fellow, and I remember I was like, oh, Jesse's English, he's African American stuff. I was like, I'm gonna send a survey to him and just see what he says. And you put in Tupac, and I was like, exactly.
And we put the same songs
Yes.
in, didn't
Yeah,
we?
I know,
We both picked two, couldn't even pick one and pick the same two.
And that's what I said.
That is dope.
And so I was like, I know I got it. This is what it's gonna be.
It's great.
So yeah, thank y'all. I appreciate you for
Absolutely.
indulging
Thank
me.
you. Thank you for having us.
We hope that you enjoyed our discussion of the literary genius that is Tupac Shakur. We hope that you learned something new. Each one, teach one. Until next time, we wish you love, light, and hip hop.
That's it.
Peace.
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 We're done. In this episode, we bring the conversation to a close by detailing our takeaways. We hope that you enjoyed the first season of Literary Merit, a hip-hop podcast. We hope you learned something new through our analysis of Tupac's songs, Changes, and Keep Your Head Up. Join us next season as we explore another lyrical genius in the world of hip-hop. Until then, we wish you love, light,